I think this is working now. Hey! Welcome to my channel. First video or second video. I tried to upload one yesterday after the Habs win against the Rangers. But I recorded 40 minutes of myself reacting and giving good commentary with the mic muted. So there you go. First video of my channel. Live and learn. I kept it up because it's gonna be a nice reminder to make sure my mic is not muted before I go to commentary. So, Habs win! Woo! I even sang the Ale Montréal song yesterday. I was so excited. Anyways, nerve-wracking game against the Rangers. The Habs had just lost in regulation against the Leafs on Saturday. So my whole commentary now about yesterday's game against the Rangers is going to be affected by the game that they play against the Leafs on Saturday. Just like your watching experience. If you watched the game yesterday, yeah, of course you were thinking about the loss against the Leafs the whole time, right? So anyways, the Habs begin or should I say actually, sorry, I'm doing this without like being guided or anything. This is just going to be my uncut reaction / commentary to the Habs games. And I want to say, I don't want to narrate the games. I know there's a lot of Habs media creators out there that react to the games, and they narrate and they react to how the highlights were happening. I don't want to do just that. I want to add my commentary, what I see, that it's not just in the highlights, right? So I want to go a little bit more in detail to what the Habs did on that game. So it's going to be longer videos. It's just going to be me talking about the game, like if I was talking to a friend about the game, right? So hopefully you enjoy, hopefully you hang out, and hopefully you give me feedback at the end of the video. Anyways, so on to the game. Habs, Rangers. That sounded like Hockey Junkie. Hockey Junkie, big fan. Anyways, the puck drop, the Habs start playing well. I was nervous to begin with because I was thinking that they were gonna be nervous about the loss to the Leafs. As a fan, I was nervous. As a fan, I was like, oh damn, are the Habs for real? Or, you know, was the whole December and January just a dream, and they've been playing way out of their league and they're actually not this good, you know? So obviously the Leafs game, we played really well the first period, but then we fell off on the third. The second was fluky, and we fell hard on the third. So yeah, that's the last impression you have, right, of the Habs, and you're nervous. So anyways, they start with the Galley, Dvorak, and Anderson line, which they play really well. I'm gonna get to that more, but I think Dvorak had one of his best games. He scored too, but eye on the goal, like the goal was fluky. It went in off a bounce, but he played well. Anyways, so they start, but there's not a lot of shots. It's a very tight game. I think the Habs are dominating for the first 10 minutes, but there's no shots. I think the shots are like 2-1 during the first 10 minutes. So very low scoring chances for both ends. It's the first time Dabesh is playing at the Bell Centers, and apparently his dad was there, and he hadn't seen him in months. So he must have been really nervous. He said after the Washington game, I think it was, the reporter asked him, like, hey, this is a nice venue to play in. I think he misunderstood the question, but he said something like, no, like the Bell Center is the most nerve-wracking venue to play in. Like, yes, you're in front of fans, but like it's so much worse, he said, for nerves or something like that. So you could tell he was nervous. And the fact that the Rangers didn't get, like, only had one shot during the first 10 minutes, I don't think it helps. I don't know a lot about goalies, and I just want to clarify, by the way, I don't know a lot about hockey. I just watch hockey. I am not a hockey player. I am not a hockey coach. I can barely skate. I'm just starting to learn. I started watching hockey 3 years ago, 2021. So that's all my hockey experience. I just watch the Habs. I watch YouTube videos. I read the Habs Reddit, and that's about it. But I watch in detail, and I'm an analyst. I pay attention to details, right? So this is what I'm here to talk about. Anyways, first time Dabesh, he only gets one shot in the first 10, and then the next one goes in. Fluky ass goal, which reminded me of the game of the Leafs, because like the first two goals against the Leafs were fluky-ish. and completely shut down the Habs. So I'm immediately having PTSD of the Saturday game where the Habs are dominating, but we get scored on, right? So we get scored on first, like bounces off the back weirdly, Laugh is there, goes in. Hudson is out there. So he's not feeling well. He didn't play well on Saturday against the Leafs. He said he needs to be better, and then the first goal that goes in, he's on the ice, right? 5v5. Ouch. So didn't feel good for the kid. He's playing unreal. Obviously, I think he had an overall good game, but yeah, that one hurts. Also, what hurts, the Habs now have been scored on 8 times unanswered. So it's been 8 goals against since we've scored on the other team. We scored 3 on the Leafs on the first period. Then we proceeded to get scored on 7 times. Yes, 7 goals. And now the Rangers score first. So it's now been 8 goals since the Habs last scored. So I'm starting to wonder if that gets to the players. It got to me as a fan again. And I was nervous. I was like, hopefully, they break this streak fast. And Dvorak, Gally, they come in clutch. Gally scores a clutch goal, gives life back to the Habs. He says, we are for real. We are this good. We will score. And the third line, that Dvorak line, they were falling behind. The second line has been picking up the pace. The first line comes and goes, but Caulfield has been scoring, and Slav has now starting to play great. I'm gonna get more to that in later on. The third line was falling behind. The fourth line has been touted as the best fourth line in the NHL when Heineman was out there, right? Freaky accident to Heineman on Utah, and now Beck got called. I'm also going to mention Beck later on. But yeah, so the third line had not been producing. It was Anderson that was just carrying that line. He has an amazing goal against the Leafs, but it's like all him, right? Mostly all him. I know he gets a pass at the blue line, but then he just bags Domi and scores. And no, this time Gally and Dvorak just showed up more, so I'm glad. And if we can have all fourth lines rolling, then it's going to be scary, yeah? Anyways, so Gally scores. And before the period ends, Jack-Eye, who I want to mention, has a giveaway. He's pressured by Zibanejad, and gives the puck away, and we get scored on. Another fluky goal. I know he's fluky, but it's not really fluky because the Rangers put good pressure on Jack-Eye. He coughs up the puck, and it ends up in our net, But yeah, so like not fluky. Obviously, the Rangers deserve that goal, but it's the third shot. So Dobesh has been scored on twice in 3 shots, and now you're starting to think, was this rookie is just like having the best time of his life before, and he's actually not for real? Shit, let me mute Teams. Am I back? Am I recording again? But my camera is weird. Okay. Teams is muted, camera is fixed. We're back. And I think we're back. And I have a cat now that is yelling at me as well. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Jack-Eye. Jack-Eye cups up the puck, Zibanejad pressures, and a goal goes in. So again, this happened against the Leafs as well, where we didn't give them many chances, but the chances they did get, our goalies did not bail us out. I don't think it was an easy shot for Dobbs to stop, but it goes in. So he's been scored on now twice out of 3 shots, and obviously his goals against average goes down, or up rather, and his save percentage goes down. It was a nice run, but it was unsustainable. He was never going to be under a goal against average for a long period of time, right? Let's be real. And his save percentage was never going to be .98 or whatever crazy stat he had. It was crazy and really fun while it lasted, but we all knew it was going to go to be lower. He still gets the win in the end, so he still gets the last laugh out there, but yeah, no, his numbers obviously go down, but he still gets a win. Anyways, so Davish gets scored on, and we finish the period 2-1. I thought Jack-Eye was distracted the whole first period. So I was thinking how Rempe and Jack-Eye are going at it on warm-ups, right? And they go at it the whole first period. Like they're getting under each other's skin, they're chirping, they're like slashing each other, like behind the refs and whatnot. So Jaka is playing this dirty game that he has, but I don't think he has the experience right now to play both his dirty game and his defensive game. He has shown for the last 2 months, give or take a few games or shifts here and there, right? But he has shown that he can play very well defensively. He has not made me nervous on defense for a while now, right? But he was making me nervous during the first period. And I think it's because he was distracted of this rampy like fight that was brewing, right? This chirping, dirty play that he was doing with Rampy. And I think he's just not focused on his defensive game. So that was showing, and it ends up in our net. He coughs up the puck, ends up in our net. So I was hoping he would end that, and he does. The second period starts, they keep chirping at each other, and finally they have the fight. And I think that was a huge turning point in the game. The Jackeye-Rempy fight, where Rempy engages, so he gets the penalty, the extra penalty. So already a positive for Jackeye and the Habs. We get a power play out of this, right? Second positive, Jackeye can now stop thinking of his fight with Rampy and just focus on his defensive game after. And the third positive is that Jackeye just completely dogs Rampy. He starts the fight by getting punched because Rampy is the instigator, right? And then Jackeye is like, okay, fine. Now that I see the hand was raised, or you can see you drop their gloves first, and I'm gonna get the penalty. You're gonna get the extra penalty. He drops the gloves, and they like go into this wrestling match, and then he starts like punching the left, and yeah, just dogs Rampy at the end. Rampy played it cool. Hats off to Rampy for not just falling on the ice and staying there. I'm sure he was hurting. He's a big boy, 6'9", I think, so he has 4 inches on Jackeye, who is huge. Big boy fight. Jackeye gets the better out of Rampy, and huge turning point for the Habs. Injects so much energy into the crowd, into the lines, into the team, right? He goes out to the box, just like raising his arm, pumping everyone in the crowd. I'm sure the Bell Center was nuts there. So yeah, that was a huge turning point. Kudos to Jackeye. And then we get the power play, and our power play has not been good. If you just look at the numbers, if you look at the numbers of power play converted during the last few games, so I think the last 3 to 5 games, we have not scored on the power play for a while. Like, our power play percentage is not great. Our power play is good if you look at it. If you compare it to how bad it was during the last 2 years, or the last, like in October or whatever, before Line came in, our power play obviously is a lot better. And as a Habs fan, it's a lot better. They're passing the puck and they're getting really good chances, but the puck is not going in, right? Like, we're not scoring that much on the power play. And this one again, I think, we start with the first power play unit, but the Rangers penalty kill is really good, right? I think it's like the second best in the league. So yeah, they're pressuring hard, and we don't convert on the power play, but we convert right after. So the power play ends, it's 5-on-5, but it's still Newhook, Galley, and Dvorak out there, and Dvorak gets a lucky shot, goes in, he gets rewarded, he's playing well, he's playing aggressive. Freaking Dvorak even surprised me, he waved off an icing. Later in the second period, puck goes into the Rangers zone, Anderson is bolting behind it, but Rangers is beating them, but the puck bounces and goes to the other corner, and the camera pans out, and you see Dvorak is the first one in, and he gets a nice wave off. Dvorak chasing the puck like that? I had never seen that in this season yet, so when I saw that, and I think it was after he had scored, and he had already done a few good things, like a few good passes here and there, so after seeing that icing being waved off for Dvorak's effort, I was like, okay, he's dialed in. He wants this. And I don't know if it was because Beck got injected into the lineup, or what it was that made Dvorak click yesterday, but it was really fun to watch. he played well. I don't like Dvorak as a player. I don't like him. A lot of offensive plays die on his stick. I don't think he has the creativity. Call it IQ, call it whatever you want. I don't like how he plays. That's the truth. I'm gonna be honest. But he played really well yesterday. He obviously he still had a bad plays. He still had shots that went completely wide. Like, he was still Dvorak, but he played so much better than he normally does, or with more passion. I don't know. He was good. So goes in. We're now tied at 2, and we chased the game the whole time. So I think it was Rangers scored, we score, we're tied at 1. They scored again. The first period ends 2-1, and then they score. We score, so it's tied at 2. They scored 3-2. We scored, tied at 3. They scored 4-3, and it stayed 4-3 for a while. Then we scored, and then we scored. Right, something like that it was. But we were chasing the game. We were chasing 40 minutes, I think it was, because we scored like late in the third, and they scored early in the like halfway through the first. So yeah, we were chasing at least 30-40 minutes the whole game. So I don't know. They Habs seem to do a lot better when they're chasing the game than when they have the lead. That's what the data in the last few days says, eh? Anyways, what I was gonna mention something else. Yeah, Quick played really well. Like, I thought the Habs were the better team during the whole game. The first period, and like they were lights out, better than the Rangers, and the Rangers end up leaving that period leading the game, but 2 fluky goals against us, and Quick kept the puck out. Quick and I feel like the defense of the Rangers kept the puck out of their net in some insane chances. Like, we had some really good scoring opportunities that did not go in. And the same was happening against the Leafs on Saturday. Like, we were getting good scoring chances. They were just not going in. I don't know if you call it luck. I think it's luck is there too, obviously. Like, the bounces were not going our way. But, like, really good chances, the puck is just rolling on the line and it gets cleared instead of some, like, a stick going and pushing it in, right? So, oof. Seemed like it was just a repeat of Saturday's game. There were a lot of similarities between the game of the Rangers with the Leafs. I was starting to get very nervous, but we scored. There was a point during the second where there's a scrum. I think Galley starts going with one of the big Rangers boys. I forget his name, but then Anderson and Schneider, I think it is, they get tangled and they don't drop the gloves, but they wrestle and they both like roll and then fall on the ice. I thought because Jacky got a penalty. I mean, Rampy got a penalty for instigating against Jacky. I thought this one was gonna go against us. It doesn't. So I was surprised to see that they didn't, balance it out there. But the Ranger guy has a lot of blood on his visor. Apparently his visor, when he fell, hit his nose or something. So it's just a lot of blood there. And they all come back to the game after, serving their penalties and whatnot. It's 5v5 after. But I was mentioning that because for the second time in 2 weeks, a referee leaves the game injured. So the first time that it happened, and the first time I've seen in a while, I've been watching the Habs for 3 years, and it's the first time I saw this was Dallas at Habs at Montreal. To the start of the second period, the Habs started on the power play. The Dallas wins the face-off, and they try to ice it immediately because there's no icing during the power play, right? So they try to play it on the back to the back of the Habs zone, and it hits the ref on the leg. The refs don't wear any protection, so I think it just shatters the leg of the ref, and he has to leave the game. And it was the first time that I saw that happening, where a ref has to leave the game. I know it happened last year where the ref was in the middle and he got hit by Wilson or something. But it was the first time in a Habs game that I've seen that a ref leaves the game. I don't know what happens actually. Like if there's another ref, like a goalie just waiting on the sideline to go in if a ref gets injured, or if they just play short-handed, the refs, then they have to skate a lot more. I don't know, but it happened the first time with Dallas in Montreal, and it happens again yesterday against the Rangers. and that a ref. I don't know if it was the concussion spotters that called the ref. I don't know if they saw like maybe a concussion risk, or if his excuse me, if his hand was injured, because he like they're showing in the broadcast he had like his hand out there, but he had to leave the game. I don't know if he returned or anything, but the refs are not wearing any protective equipment other than their helmets. So if something like maybe he got skated on, or like a skate caught his hand, and like it's a cut, right? They don't wear any protective gloves or anything. Hopefully they're okay. There were a few calls by the refs that I didn't like. Speaking of the refs, but overall I think they didn't steal the game. Oh yeah, that reminds me. There was a bad call. I forget who it was, but it was a bad call, and it was probably like a makeup call for giving Rampy the instigator in the first period. So at the start of the second period, the Rangers go on the power play, and it doesn't seem like it's deserved. Like, obviously I'm a biased Habs fan. I'm absolutely biased, but it didn't seem like it was enough for it to be a penalty. And you can see Martin St. Louis is losing it on in the Habs bench. And reminder that the last time the Habs played the Rangers, the only thing Martin said after in the post-game interviews where we had a good game, I will not talk about the refs. He said that like 3 times and then just stopped interviews. We had a good game, but I will not talk about the refs. That was the last time we played the Rangers, because the refs completely stole that game from the Habs. The Habs were beating the Rangers, were playing so much better than them, but the refs had some dumb penalties called against the Habs, and the Rangers power play is good. They scored. They scored again yesterday, right? So the refs call a penalty that didn't seem like a penalty, and we killed the penalty. Evans and Armia out there. I think they were out there for almost 2 minutes. Evans, I don't know what they're going to do with signing him. I think it was good that Hughes didn't sign him immediately when he was on his hot streak. Everybody was like, sign Evans right now. You sign him when he's hot, he's going to be super expensive. They knew he was going to cool down. His shooting percentage was not sustainable. He's cooling down now. He's still playing lights out. He's still playing really well defensively, but he's not scoring as much as he was scoring, which wasn't sustainable, right? So maybe now they can sign him as a fourth liner with a fourth liner salary that is not going to break the team. So hopefully they can keep Evans. I would really like them to keep Evans. Anyways, he played really well that first power play that the Rangers had, the penalty kill unit. Good. So anyways, yeah, I can see Martin was losing it when they called the first one, but I think other than that, the refs actually had good calls. I'm not gonna complain about the refs. It was just that first one that gave me PTSD, but after that, it was fine. So anyways, we're tied at 2 after the Anderson fight, and then the Rangers scored again. I think this time was I think it was the power play of the Rangers, right? Yeah, because it was the power play of the Rangers. It was the third goal, and then it was Kreider. It was the 4th goal, right? Anyway, so the Rangers do get a power play from Anderson. Anderson, after his wrestling match with Schneider, he few shifts back. I think it's his next shift. He goes out there. He's chasing a puck, and one of the Rangers falls on his knee, and again PTSD kicks in. So the Habs the last 2 years have been the worst team, or the NHL record on man game losses due to injury. So we have not had good injury luck, and this year seems like we've been a lot better. Minus Line in the preseason, right? Knee. Am I right? And then suddenly Heinemann gets into a freaky traffic accident that has him out for 3 to 4 weeks or something like that. So we lose Heinemann, who has been really good and has been a really crucial piece to our fourth line, the best fourth line in the NHL, right? So he's out, and then someone falls on Anderson's knee, and his knee bends. Like, this is his knee, and it goes like, look. You can see it bending. Not as much as Linus' knee bent when he got injured, but his knee absolutely bent, and I was freaking out, losing it, because Andy has been so good for us. He's been a dog out there. He doesn't have many points. He has a lot more than last season, but you can see his heart is in it now. Like last season, Andy was not good, and he knew he wasn't good, and it seemed like he was just not in there. This season, he's a dog. He's chasing, he's hitting, he has been crucial in the penalty kill. Like, he's playing his role. Yeah, you can argue he's still overpaid for what he's doing, but he's there, right? So he's been amazing to watch. He's been really entertaining to watch. A lot of people are saying that before this game, he was carrying that Dvorak, Gallagher, Anderson line, and since he's injured. And I see his knee bend like that, and I'm thinking he's out. He's out for months, like season-ending injury. So I'm freaking out. He goes out. Reminds me of the Dak injury. Like, that didn't seem like anything last season, right? Like, he gets pushed into the bench. You don't see his knee bending or anything, and he's out for the whole season. So I am scarred. I've been hurt before. And I thought Andy was out for a long time. He skates back to the bench, so I guess that should have been a good indicator. But he was hurt. He was down on the ice until they blew the whistle. And Andy is, like I said, he's been a dog, so if he was down, that must have hurt a shit ton. So I was really happy when he came back the next shift. I think maybe he missed a shift, but he was back on the ice after a little bit in the same period. I don't know if it was the adrenaline keeping him in there, but he played the third period too, so like, I don't know. They cooled down a little bit during intermission, right? So if his knee wasn't swollen and destroyed, it might be better. I hope we don't receive news soon that Andy's out for a little bit for his knee. So, yeah. Really hope for that, Andy. Anyways, so he's back there, but he cross-checks in front of Davish and gets a penalty, and the Rangers score on that penalty. Weird penalty where we get scored on. Savard is losing it when we get scored on because Kreider, who I want to talk about a little, just bulldozes Matheson to get space in front of Davish. And that apparently forces Matheson and Savard to switch sides. And apparently Zibanejad realizes that immediately and shoots on that open lane, on the lane that opens up because the righty and the lefty are switched. I don't know how good NHL players are, how fast their brains work, that they can realize that immediately and shoot. I don't know if it was just coincidence or if they actually see that and a lane actually opens up and they get to shoot there and it goes in. I don't know if that was an easy shot that Davish should have had. He got beat cleanly. He wasn't a redirect or anything. So yeah, they scored on again. And Kreider was covering Davish's eyes after what the commentators were saying, an interference on Matheson. Like I said, I have no hockey experience. I know they fight for space in front of the goalies. And they push and shove and cross-check, legally cross-check to fight for that space. I don't know what's legal and what's not. Kreider just goes from behind and shoulders Matheson, who falls face first on the ice, and then they get a goal after that. I don't know if that's supposed to be legal. I don't know if where the line is. I don't know where the line is in that situation. Hey, stop! My cat is scratching my chair. Sorry. Anyways, so they scored. Savard is really annoyed at the refs. You can see him yelling at them before the goal, and then he was not happy. So we're down again by 1. Then I think we go down. This is the second period and tied. Oh yeah, Suzuki scores. Yeah, okay. So we go down by 1, and then our first line is out there. They dominate. Our first line dominates a shift. They have good scoring opportunities. Hudson crosses the puck to Caulfield. Caulfield gets a good shot on. Quick played lights out yesterday. He was so good. He kept the Rangers in the game. And the dude is 40. Hats off to Quick. Let's be real. Let's be honest. He played so well yesterday. He stopped Caulfield every single time. Caulfield shot 10 times on the Leafs on Saturday and didn't score. He had really good scoring opportunities yesterday too. He doesn't score. So he gets stopped 2 nights in a row. but I'm sure that's not affecting him after the win. Anyways, I think he gets a point too. So hopefully that doesn't bring him down. But yeah, Quick saves him, and it seems like it's gonna be another shift of the first line that they play really well, but nothing comes out of it. And the Rangers get ready to clear the puck, and then Suzuki says, fuck it, I'll do it myself. He just steals the puck and scores. Thank you, high octane, high propane, or whatever the meme is of Suzuki. Thank you, Captain Big Nick. So yeah, he ties the game. And then Kreider, who, hashtag fuck Chris Kreider, he really gets under my skin, but he's good. He's dirty. He goes into places that nobody wants to go, and he gets away with it sometimes. He gets a goal from a dirty area, and just is there, gets the rebound, goes in. And the Rangers are right back up. We're chasing the game once again, 4-3 down. And I think we go to intermission with that. So I was nervous. During the third period, the Habs are dominating the Rangers once again. It's 10 minutes into the third period, and we're dogging them. We're hitting hard. Slav was playing really well. He was just bulldozing over people, and, well, that plays an important role in the last goal, but I'll get there later. But yeah, I really like how Slav played against the Rangers yesterday. He was moving his feet. He was keeping the puck more on his stick. A lot of the criticism I saw of his game lately has been that he's been nervous with the puck, so he just receives it and tries to get rid of it immediately. Yesterday, it seemed like he was a lot more calm with it. He was creating his space and time to keep the puck a little longer and make a better decision, make a better play, and he was moving his feet. So he even said in an interview recently something along the lines of, I need to keep moving my feet, so I'll play well, and the goals, I'll figure the goals later. And, well, what do you know? 2 games in a row where Slav is moving his feet, and he scores against the Leafs, and he scores against today. Really good play from Hudson. He gains the zone. It was good to see from Hudson because he gets scored twice against the Rangers, 5-on-5. So his plus and minus again is hit. And your average rookie in the NHL gets deflated from that. But Hudson isn't real. He rallies. He took that as a challenge. And he kept playing his game. He kept playing without any nerves. He just gains the zone, does his shimmies, and like shakes. There you go, shimmy shakes, and passes it to Caulfield. Caulfield throws it into the net and bounces, and Slav is bulldozing his way into the net, puts the puck in and bulldozes the net. I'm sure that hurt a shit ton, but I'm sure he didn't feel it. 22,000 people roaring and celebrating. I'm sure the adrenaline just kicks in and you don't feel anything other than I'm amazing, this feels amazing. So he gets his goal. Right, there's the Caulfield point. And we have a tight game. Yeah. And then 5 minutes left. Tie game in regulation against an Eastern team where we need every single point. If that goal doesn't happen, and say with 2 minutes left we pull the goalie, and the Rangers score on us, suddenly you look back at this weekend. Let's say a month from now, you look back at this weekend and you see 2 losses back to back against Eastern teams, 7-3 against the Leafs and 5-3 against the Rangers. I'm saying in the scenario that the Habs get scored on empty net, so it's 5-3 to end in regulation. And suddenly the Rangers are ahead of the Habs for that wildcard spot. So it was a clutch and crucial goal for Slav, Hudson, and everyone, the whole Habs team that was really pushing out there. It was a crucial win to prove to the league that this team is for real, that December and January hasn't been fluky, that is the skill level and compete level that the Habs team has. And yeah, it keeps us in the playoff race. Now we're gonna look back at it because of that goal and because of the OT win that I'm gonna get to. we get to stay in the race. We stay ahead of the Rangers, and we can just now brush off the loss against the Leafs as a fluke. We're just gonna say, yeah, no, we played that first period amazingly, and then the rest there was a fluke, and we are good, right? Because we got the win. They don't ask how, they ask how many, and how many wins in this case. They don't ask how did you win that game. You're just gonna look back at it and it's gonna be a W, not an L. So huge goal. I lost my voice celebrating that one. I love when Slav scores. I'm a Slav supporter. I started watching the Habs through their rebuild, so I've been following Slav's career since he started playing with the Habs. So I really enjoy when he's playing well. I really enjoy when he scores, especially if it was from Hudson and Caulfield, two guys that I also want to be really high in points. So yeah, and that was an amazing play from all three of them. All three of them did their role. Hudson gaining the zone, Caulfield shooting it, and Slav making his way into the net. So yeah, that was that made me feel relief, feel reassured that this team is for real. Feel reassured that the last 2 months have been for real, that they can keep up this, and that they're not gonna fall back to their early November/October ways of playing the game, right? So yeah, I was really nervous during that third period, and I'm sure all of you guys were also very nervous during that third period, where we were trailing by one after playing so much better. I think with 10 minutes left, the shots were 30 for the Habs, 20 for the Rangers. I think when we scored on it was 33-22. So by all numerical means and eye test, we were playing way better than the Rangers, but we were still trailing. I like what Martin did when we were trailing 10 minutes left. He started stacking the lines where he put both offensive lines of Dak and Suzuki paired with Hudson and Matheson. So that's like full-on offense, right? While still not being bad defensively, because Matheson and Hudson have been good defensively too, minus the Leafs game, obviously, but overall they've been good defensively as well. And they're an offensive bomb, right? So he stacks the lines and it pays off. Yeah, when that combo is out there, you know something is gonna happen, and it feels so good. It feels so good that you just see the players on the ice, and you can be, you know, something's gonna happen. Sadly, still with the Dak line, I still feel like something's gonna happen on either end. They're really good offensively. They're not so good defensively, and I wanted to get to that because they make me really nervous when they're stuck in their zone. Laine is a very cerebral player from what I can see. He makes me really nervous defensively. I don't know if because he doesn't have as much experience with the Habs system yet, and I feel like he's in another page still. Like they're doing this hybrid defense and then man on man when the puck is closer to the blue line, and it seems like Laine is always in a different page. It's like pushing back or like he loses his man. He makes me nervous. He makes me nervous out there. They don't get scored on. I think maybe they get scored on once, but I still don't have confidence in that line defensively. They've been better. Dak and Newhook both had a really good game. Laine obviously gets a OT winner, so he's also going to be regarded as, you know, really good game. He is really good offensively. He has an incredible shot. He makes our power play light years better than what it used to be, right? But defensive game, so yeah, whenever I see that there's that line, the Dak line, paired, mixed with the Jackeye Savard pairing, I get nervous. Savard and Jackeye have been playing well, but they are our slowest defensive pairing. You're comparing them to Goulet and Carrier, who are both really good skaters, and Matheson and Hudson, who are both well known for their skating. Matheson's speed and just floating over the ice, and Hudson for his high IQ and whatnot. Like, obviously, Savard and Jackeye are our slowest pairing, and that's not on, like, the other ones are just so much faster, right? So whenever they are on the ice, they are big boys. They block, they hit. But I feel more nervous defensively when they're on the ice than when the other pairings are on the ice, especially the Guli Carrier, who's been like our shutdown pairing right now. So when there's 3 minutes to go in the game, in a tied game that we have been chasing the whole time, like I said, 40 minutes chasing the game, and it's finally tied, and I see out there the dock line with the Savard-Jakai pairing. Martin was playing with fire when he had that happen. I think they changed pretty fast, so it was like just a few seconds that he was out there. Like they didn't have anything bad happen. It was just me noticing that and getting nervous. I wanted them to at least secure the point. I didn't want them to get scored on with seconds to go. So I didn't like that. I like to keep my beats per minute when I'm watching a game under 140. Thank you, Martin. So they secured the point. They played. They kept the last 5 minutes tight. We still had a few scoring chances here and there. I forget the specifics now, but we secured the point. So already a lot better, and I'm already breathing again. I'm sure all the Habs fans are like, okay, relax now. We already got a point. Let's get the second one. And let's get the second one. And they start out there, and Dvorak, Suzuki, and Hudson are out there. And they've been doing this a lot with Dvorak, where he goes out there to take the face-off, and then he changes, switches with another player, right? They do that for OT, and I already gave my kudos to Dvorak. He's really good in the face-off. He loses the face-off in OT. Thankfully, I don't know if he pushes it on purpose or if the Rangers guy on the face-off like way overdid it, but it goes all the way to the end of the zone in the Rangers zone, and Hudson chases hard. So that forces the Rangers to take their time. They can't just play it fast, and Dvorak gets to change. So now we have Suzuki Caulfield with Hudson on the ice. And they get really good chances. The Rangers have the puck at first, but Hudson strips it. He gains the zone. You think he's going to go on the breakaway, but he realizes he's not going to beat Fox, I think it's out there. So, no shame on that. He realizes that, and he's smart enough to realize that he's not going to win it, so he backs out and keeps possession of the puck. And we keep the puck. Suzuki, Caulfield, Hudson, they do their thing, and they get a few scoring chances. So, Hudson is just so smart. He's so good. But we don't score. We lose the puck. And then they're stuck out there. The same trio. They're still out there. And I think their shift lasted for almost 2 minutes. I think it was like 3:17 left in OT. So almost 2 minutes out there when they finally got to change. So during that time that we were in our zone with tired Suzuki, tired Caulfield, tired Hudson. That made me real nervous. I thought the game was gonna end there, and Dobish comes out clutch. Dobish shows that he is as good as we think he is, that he deserves to stay out there, that his 4 wins have not been just luck, that he likes to play in Montreal, that he showed the Bell Center what he's made of. And the Bell Center reacts. The Bell Center starts shouting and chanting his name. You start hearing it. Dobby, Dobby, Dobby. That was crazy. So he starts the game. He gets scored on twice on 3 shots. If it's any goalie out there that happens, you start laughing in their faces. You have a 33 save percentage or something like that? 33% save? Well, you get it. And like his stats are not gonna be great. The Rangers didn't have that many shots on goal, and they scored on 4 times. So his save percentage goes down. His goals against average go up. But he was clutch when we needed him. He didn't bail out Jakai. It was a difficult shot. He bails out Suzuki, Caulfield, and Hudson. He saves the game in OT twice. So yeah, the Bell Center loses it. The Bell Center chants his name. I'm losing it. And then a few shifts, I forget, and there's Evans out there, and And then Line jumps in, and I'm like, Line with Evans? What? Excuse me? And then Goldie grabs the puck, just carries it in the zone. Line is on the net, goes in. Everybody loses their shed. I lose my shed. You lost your shed. We win in OT. Habs get away with a win. Nerve-wracking game. The Habs dominated. They should have won that. It should not have been that close. Quick kept the Rangers in, and the Habs proved that they are a good team. They still remain with the benefit of the doubt. I still 95% believe in them fully. I've been hurt before, like I said. I've been a Habs fan for the whole rebuild, so I've seen them being bad. So I have really enjoyed the run the last 2 months. The Leafs game was rough. They came back the next day, and now we're gonna have this good feeling for the next game. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoy my commentary, my points of the game. I record myself during the game to say a few things out loud into my phone, so I can catch up. I can catch those later if I forgot something crucial, and I'll post those as well in a video, just like unedited. My reaction to the game, because sometimes I'm recording and then we scored or we get scored on, so I react there. It should be fun. I'll post that too. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Like I said, my first/second video, because my first one I recorded exactly this, but with the mic muted, so that sucked. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully you guys give me good feedback, and go Habs go. See you soon. Let's go!